Reading is a mysterious process for most of the students. Who knows how it happens or how they do it? Reading is not so simple and easy for all of our students. For us to help our students to read, we must steal some of the mystery from the process of reading. So we need to look closely at what happens so naturally. Reading is a very active process. It involves doing things engaging in specific, describable, teachable acts. There are some strategies, usable and practical, that will help teachers initiate readers more successfully and happily into the pleasure of reading. Today I represent Nazarbayev Intellectual School of Chemistry and Biology in Kazlata. I have chosen for my online lesson the introduction class for the book Lord of the Flies. Reading for pleasure. So learning objectives for this lesson is understand the main points in unsupported extended talk on a wide range of general and curricular topics. Explain and justify their own point of view on a range of general and curricular topics. Understand specific information and detail in text on a range of familiar, general and curricular topics, including some extended text. The class which I have chosen for this book is 9th graders. The lesson objectives: to learn 5 new words in 40 minutes, to be able to express your own point of view, to increase your interest in reading, to evaluate and respond constructively to feedback from others, and to listen to specific information. Success criteria. In order to succeed, we have to put the question at the beginning of the lesson. So, how will you know if you have been successful? At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to demonstrate an understanding of what they have read. And also, they will be able to use the text to answer the questions successfully. So, before we start, as an introduction, I will give the students the picture of these flies, and I will ask the kids to guess what is the name of the book. So, the students look at the picture and find the name of the book. So, the kids, the students, they find the name of the books themselves. They also can discuss what is this book about. So, in order to succeed and to reach the objectives of the lesson, I have chosen some strategies, and the first strategy which I have chosen for this exact lesson is probable passage strategy. So the probable passage strategy, for example, I choose one passage from the first chapter of the book, and I also will choose some words from this particular chapter, from this particular passage, and give the kids only these the words. Like in my case, I gave the kids the words the boy, the lagoon, the phrase a witch like cry, grey shirt, broken trunks, lowered himself down, his school, sweater, hair, the jungle, and a bird. You can also work with the pronunciation, with the meaning of the word. They can also give their own sentences using these particular words. So, in this case, I asked the kids to divide the words, and I divided the students into two groups. They read and understand the given words and phrases. The students then arrange the words and phrases into the categories. Categories of setting, characters, problem, and ending. They predict what's the story about and give their own version and write a short passage. Allotted time for this task is 10 minutes. At the end of the task, we can come back to the lesson objectives and discuss what we have already covered. In this case, myself, I have arranged the words into the categories. So, I chose the words the lagoon, grey shirt, sweater, and hair for setting category. The boy and bird for the characters. For the problem, there are a witch-like cry, his school, the jungle phrases. So the broken trunks, lowered himself down, are for the ending category. You can have a look at the working procedure of the kit. So the kids, at the end of this task, they will come up with their own passages using these given words. First group, I want to listen to your passage. One boy with black curly hair from jungle somewhere with a grey short and his school sweater, and he lowered himself down because he saw a big bird. Then he broke his trunks and started a witch-like cry. He found the lagoon in his deep jungle and he washed his face. Thank you very much. We are going to listen to the passage with the second group. Once upon a time, the boy named he had a coat made of grey shirt and grey hair. In jungle, he was fishing for fishes like crabs. In jungle, he were magic there. Then he found water and came out of the water. Thank you very much. So, the kids, every group given their own probable passage with these given words. So, the next step, before giving the whole passage, we give the whole passage with the gaps. So they can use the words from the chart again and fill the gaps with the appropriate words. The time which is given for this task is 7 to 8 minutes. So the kids working in groups can also discuss again these words to memorize them and also use the words again in this text. Finally, students read the text and compare it with the probable passage. The text is: the boy with fair hair lowered himself down, the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way towards the lagoon. Though he had taken off his school sweater and trailed it now from one hand, his grey shirt stuck to him and his hair was plastered to his forehead. All round him, the long scar smashed into the jungle was a bath of hay. He was clambering heavily among the creepers and broken trunks when a bird, a vision of red and yellow, flashed upwards with a witch-like cry, and this cry was echoed by another. I have chosen exactly this passage because this passage is the first passage of the first chapter. So, after completing the passage, the kids can also make their own stories what can happen after this passage. The next strategy which I have chosen for this lesson is a memory training strategy. Memory training strategy will help the kids to remember the facts of the story. So the students will be divided into pairs and the text is displayed on the walls. 10 questions related to the text will be given to each pair. One student has to walk around the class, read the text and find the answer and get back to his pair and explain the answer to the question. The other student writes the answer of the question and the students swap roles after 5 questions. At the end of the session, each pair will have the answers to the 10 questions and will be able to retell the text. So here's a question which will be on each table and they will read the question together and one of the students should find the answer in the text and the walls and report the back to his partner. And they swap after 5 questions. So the first question will be there. Who are the first 2 characters to appear in the story? What do Ralph and Piggy find in the small lagoon? Who is elected chief? For what purpose does Jack Merridew want his coil used? What assignment does Ralph give Piggy instead of allowing him to join the exploration expedition? Who does Ralph select to accompany him on the expedition? And what weapon does Jack possess? What does Simon call the strange bushes they find? Why does the piglet trapped in the creeper vines escape? Describe what has happened to the boys. This task will help the students to train their memory and also to be able to explain the situation to their partner. Allotted time for this task is 10 minutes. So each kid will give an answer for 5 questions. At the end of this task, they will give their own answer. Each pair will have their own answers. The another strategy which I have chosen for this class is most important word strategy. This strategy is a post-reading strategy in which students decide which word in a text they think is the most important, based on specific evidence in the text. As students decide which word is the most important, They begin to formulate their responses to the questions. What did the story mean to you? This question is the most important question when you read a book. So, sometimes for kids, it's the most complicated question. There is one more suggestion how to implement this strategy in the class. So in this particular class, I asked my kids to write the most important word on a piece of paper and fold it and put it on the table. Kids rotate the table and stop it on the particular place and start putting the question to each other according to the text. And the kids, they had to answer using the word which was on the paper. So it is one of the strategies which I have used in my class. So, in the reflection part, the students will be given a reflection chart to check their achievement. And they have to write the words which they have remembered. They have to be not less than 5 words. And they also have to write 2 facts which they will never forget. The reflection part usually helps the students to summarize what they have learned in this lesson and also memorize the given information. Allotted time is 2 minutes. Also, if you come back to the success criteria, we will demonstrate understanding of what we have read. We will use details from the text to support our answer. I will be given the piece of office sticks to them, and they have to write on a piece of sticker their own achievement according to the given success criteria. And they have to stick it on the wall before they leave the class. The most important part of the lesson, is giving it the homework. So for me, I usually, in this reading pleasure classes, I always give a home task for them. So it's very important to explain the kids what is the home task and also to guide them how to do this. So I will give them a handout, and the task of that will be to complete the text with the words from the box, and some of the words can be used more than once. This is a story. Here is given mostly the words, it's noun words and name of the kids. And we can also read the whole story with the gaps, and the kids can also do their homework in their mind before going home. So when they will at home, when they will be doing the homework handout, they will remember what we have done at school, and they just can write the names on the gaps. And next class we will just read the whole text with a full with the filled gaps. Also sometimes it's good to give the oral questions to the kids at the end of the class. Like, I ask them to give an answer for several questions and orally, so I can just put a question like, according to the chapter 1, like in order to understand in order to know their understanding of the first chapter, I just put several questions. It can be not more than 5. So at the end of next class, when they come to the class, they have to give me an answer for those questions. For example, like, what item does Ralph find, and how do all the boys know where to gather? Or how do the boys choose a leader? Who becomes the leader? How does Ralph hurt Piggy's feeling? Why do the boys drop the rock from the mountain? And what opportunity does Jack miss at the end of the chapter? It's very important to make them understand each question, and they have already done a lot of work on understanding of the first chapter, so they may already know the answer for those